A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mahabani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 1st May 2020. Dear friends, today is May Day. So can you tell me what May Day is all about? This is your first question. With this, dear friends, I would like to start today's discussion with this quote by Rishi Kapoor. Passion for work is very important. Passion. I see passion as a fuel. We all go through our ups and downs. When we are in our downs, when we are not in that great shape or in great form, it is the passion that gives us that kick. It is this passion that pushes us in a right direction. So it works like a fuel, and it is very important to have passion for the work that you are doing. That's what late Rishi Kapoor said. As we all know that unfortunately we have lost two superstars. One is Irfan Khan and one is Rishi Kapoor. With this, dear friends, I would like to introduce all of you to our smart course. StudyIQ has launched our smart course on our mobile application. This smart course is designed by some of the best faculties that you can see on your screen, and some other faculties, they have also given their best to design this smart course. Some IAS officers have also contributed their expertise in this smart course. This smart course covers both the pre as well as mains examination. To find out more about it, all you have to do is download our mobile application and go through our smart course. We have 5 articles on our table. First one is from a very reputed newspaper called Mint. Data becomes new oil. Very interesting, very important article. We are going to talk about 4 C's of this data. Then we have religion and freedom. This one is from Hindu. WHO crisis and multilateralism. Again, a very important article from Times of India. Then we have needed a pandemic patent pool. This one is from Hindu. And plasma therapy is no silver bullet. Again, this one is from Hindu as well. To download the PDF of today's lecture, check out my Telegram channel. Please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. Hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Question number 2 for you. Which nation is not part of Gulf Cooperation Council? A. Iraq, B. Saudi Arabia, C. Kuwait, or D. Bahrain? Data becomes a new oil. Clive Humby was a mathematician, and back in 2006 he coined this phrase called data is the new oil. Back in 2006, data was as important as oil, but I think what has happened in recent past, data is more important than oil, because a few days ago we were talking about this thing that oil price has crashed below zero. At present it is somewhere around this USA's oil is at minus $40 per barrel. That means if you buy $1, beg your pardon, if you buy 1 barrel, then you will get $40 in return. Can you imagine a situation where you are buying oil? Right, you are buying oil and then you are getting $40 as well on top. So that's a bonanza, because the price is in minus $40. The second most important thing that happened roughly on the same day of this news item, that Facebook is going to buy 10% of Reliance Jio's Jio platform's share, 10%. So that's a second important news item. So this, if you look at it, if you compare this data is the new oil with these 2 news items, you find that data is more important, data is more expensive, or data is means oil is of no match to data. That's what we can say, right, for now. I'm sure many of you would be aware about this golden quadrilateral as well. Our late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, it was his dream to connect these 4 big cities of our nation, and fortunately we have this golden quadrilateral now. These 4 cities are connected with each other. So directly, indirectly, the whole nation is connected with the help of this golden quadrilateral. You can imagine there are so many tiny villages, so many tiny towns, now they are connected with this big cities via this golden quadrilateral. So that was a very big thing a few decades ago. The next big thing is going to be this new quadrilateral that covers 4C's. First is content, second is carriage, third is customer, and the fourth is commerce. Now, so far, different companies have owned or dominated this various different corners or various different C's, right? A few of them are predominantly in content business, TV and studios. Telecom firms, they own this carriage. Customers were touched by multiple players. Commerce was owned by, one example is online retailers. A few of them, they have more than one C's, like Amazon. They have commerce and customer. AT&T's Time Warner. They have acquired this Time Warner. So they have dominated both this carriage as well as content business. But this new marriage or engagement between Jio and FB is altogether a game changer. It's a disruptor, I would say, right? They are trying to cover, or in fact, Jio and FB together, they will conquer all these 4C's. I'll explain it to you how. The first one is content. You have this Jio Savan, right? It offers you music. You have this Network One news company of Jio. Then you have there are so many apps on Jio apps, Jio movies, Jio films, then there are so many other Jio, you can get magazines and newspapers and so many things, right? If you are using Jio, many students, they do ask like subscription about various newspapers. So you can opt for this. If you are using Jio, then do a little bit of search on your App Store or your Play Store. You will find this Jio apps, right? If you are using Jio card, then you can use your mobile number and OTP, and then you will get access to so many magazines and so many newspapers. So do give it a go. So basically, this is an example of Jio's content. On the other side, we have this WhatsApp, we have this Instagram, Facebook, right? As you know that WhatsApp and Instagram are product of Facebook, this big company Facebook. So everything that you write on Facebook, every photo that you upload on your Instagram, right? It is a sort of content. So this company, Facebook, is also creating content. As far as carriage is concerned, right, Jio is already India's largest telecom player. As far as this wireless customers are concerned, it has 350 million mobile users, or 350 million subscribers are using Jio services. Then we are going to see Jio in this fiber world as well, this fiber optic world, where we will get this broadband connectivity from Jio. In fact, in many different parts of our country, they have already started that pilot, as well as commercial projects are on. So data highways, streets and alleyways are going to get connected with the help of this Jio service. As far as commerce is concerned, this is where there is a scope for most disruption. We have two large firms, Amazon as well as Flipkart. Flipkart is owned by Walmart now. And both these companies, they are, fast growing e-commerce market in our country. They are the e-commerce market players in our country. And they are serving some 2% of retail business. Then as well, it looks big, it looks huge. Can you imagine that 90% of retail sales are through small kirana stores? And what this WhatsApp and Facebook, or this merger, or this marriage between Jio and Facebook, is going to create a platform where you can order anything you want via an app that will be designed by both this Jio and Facebook, and this app will be a sort of one-stop destination. It will be like a super app. You can watch movies, you can watch news, you can go through newspapers, you can read books, you can make phone calls, you can order items, you can make payments, you can receive payments, and so many things. So it will help you with your day-to-day items from your local shops. And just imagine, there are so many local shops around our locality, or in our city. We have so many in our cities, villages, everywhere. We have these shops. And interesting thing is, this shop owners, they are using WhatsApp. Most of them, they are using Facebook, they are using WhatsApp. Most of them are using Jio as well. So this is a perfect match of Jio and Facebook. Then customers, right? Jio as a telecom provider has a billing relationship with the customer, which grants it direct access and data and puts up high exit barrier. the buying habits of Indians could serve Facebook's advertisement regime or advertisement engines. It can collect Facebook, Geo. They know how much you spend on what things. They know about your shopping habits. They know what you are surfing. They know what you like, which film you have watched, and so many things. So they can use this data, your habits and everything, and then they can offer you all these things. They can you will get data, shopping, entertainment, food, everything in just one place. This super app, you will get everything from both these companies. So this is what they are planning for, and this is going to be a big thing in our country. It may not look that big at present, but if everything goes okay, then this new quadrilateral, this new 4 C's, right, are going to be a big game changer. For that, we have to wait and watch. There are a few things that I would like to add here, that as far as data is concerned, data sharing is concerned, storing is concerned, they are not on the same page. Geo is saying that data needs to be stored in our country. Facebook is saying that we have to take it and store it in our servers in USA. So that's a point that we need to keep in mind. Second thing is this merger, or this not merger, but this small partnership will need a green signal from CCI as well. That is Competition Commission of India, competition watchdog of our country. So if these companies, if they get green signal, then we will see this 4 C's coming into action. Moving on to next item, religion and freedom. Now this editorial is criticizing Indian government. It is talking about this USA's Commission on International Religious Freedom, USCIRF. This report has kept India with those countries like Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, the North Korea. These countries, you know it very well that these countries, I'm not sure about North Korea to be honest, but I know about Pakistan and I know about Saudi Arabia. That these countries are not secular, right? They are talking about Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. They are, they are inclined towards just one religion, that is Islam. It's their choice, right? These countries, they are free to choose whichever religion they want to support. But our country, if you go through our constitution is secular, right? Even if you don't add the word secular, then as well our constitution is secular. First thing. Second thing is, if you go through the history of our country, I'm not talking about modern history alone. If you go to ancient history of our country, then as well you will find that secularism has always been there in our country. If you go through medieval history of our country, you will find that there are so many kings, Hindu kings. They have given money for building mosques. There are so many Muslim kings. They have given money to build some temples. So we have this sort of, I'm not saying every Hindu king has done this thing, every Muslim king has done, but we have this good examples as well. Apostle of Christ, he came here in India, right? We have oldest Christians, Syrio-Malabar Christians, they are living here. We have Parsis who left Iran and they came to India and now they are part of us, right? Means Parsis are Indians and India belongs to all of us, right? Equally. Then as far as Islam is concerned, right after when Islam was introduced, just a few years after that, we saw Muslims from this Arabic world coming here in our country, and we find some oldest mosques in our country. Jews, right? They have lived here since time immemorial. So raising fingers towards a country like India, right? I think we don't need to learn secularism for a country like US and other countries, because see, they have this in US as well. You will find there are so many people, they have this anti-Islam view, they have anti-Jewish views over there, right? And if you go through, there are so many documentaries, you will be shocked to know that these people, they can criticize a particular religion, right? And In our country, if we find a few incidents, which is very unfortunate, right, it is not good at all for the nature of our country to have religious riots or communal riots. It is not acceptable at all. But even if we have few of them, right, you cannot say that the whole nation is one-sided, or the whole nation is just supporting one particular religion. So this is the main reason why I don't agree with this particular editorial, but that does not mean that you too have to agree with my point of view. You can go through this article, right? It is an easy read. Go through it and think from yourself. Means see what your decision is on this thing. What's your opinion on this thing? Whether India is what this US CIRF is saying, or India is not that. So I want you guys as well to think about it, right? Just don't. Means, of course, I'm a teacher, but that does not mean that you don't have to use your logic, your common sense, right? That's what Buddha also said, that if your common sense is not happy with something, then even if it is said by Buddha, even if it is said by your teachers, your parents, or your friends, or anyone, don't accept it until and unless your common sense agrees with that thing. So see what your common sense is telling you about our country. Then we have a very interesting article on WHO crisis, or this multilateral bodies that we have, international organizations. Back in 1929, precisely April 1929, there was this large passenger ship called SS Tuscania, and this ship traveled from Mumbai to Liverpool via Marseille. Marseille is in France. So few of them who were on board, they got this small pox. So it triggered a health crisis in Europe, as well as travel crisis in Europe. France banned all those people coming from UK who were without vaccinations. So this was not taken very well by UK, and there was a sort of lockdown, and there was this anti-globalization sort of wave was also visible for a short period of time. So it's in a small scale, but it's something exactly what we are facing at present, a sort of lockdown around the world. So something similar happened back in 1929 as well. It was all about this smallpox. Most interesting thing is that at that point of time, the world was having this League of Nations Health Organization. It was a precursor of this WHO. So this LNHO was seen as impartial and credible. And it was at that point of time, remember already this Germany and other countries, they had this World War I, and they were about to have this World War II. Things were not that good between all these countries. But then as well, Hitler withdrew Germany from in 1933. He withdrew Germany from this LNHO. But then as well, Germany, or Hitler's regime, he kept on providing this medical data, this data associated with these diseases and other things to this LNHO for the sake of the whole world. So at that point of time, countries were, seeing this LNHO as a sort of a fire station, as a central fire station in a municipal system of fire prevention. And it acted as like a world's alarm as well. In case if anything goes wrong, then this LNHO was an organization that will inform you about the things that's wrong as far as this medical field is concerned. So it was respected for being impartial. But nowadays we have a few organizations like WHO, then we have other organizations. We cannot say that they are thoroughly impartial, right? And this LNHO's investment in wireless net infrastructure led to this, later on, it acted as like a centerpiece of our modern telecommunication network as well. So, LNHO has helped the world directly, indirectly in many ways. Now, you know that Mr. Trump has suspended funding, USA's funding for WHO. He said that we will never provide money to WHO. And there are many people who say that Mr. Trump has done this thing to shift the blame. USA has not been the best example of controlling this coronavirus thing. So to divert focus of the world as well as people of USA, he blamed this WHO, and it is also said that WHO was pro-China. Right, there can be a thorough investigation on this thing. But one thing is there, that we cannot, the way WHO has, and just not WHO, there are various different multilateral organizations. These organizations are a product of late 40s and 1950s. World was quite different at that point of time. Today's world is also different. We are in 2020. And we need neutral, impartial organizations. We cannot say that United Nations has always been impartial. We cannot say that WHO or IMF or World Bank, they have always been impartial. And if you go through this statement of C. Rajamohan, Rajamohan is a strategic affairs scholar. You find his articles normally in the Indian Express newspaper. Once a week or once a fortnight, you may find his article. I have gone through many articles written by C. Rajamohan, so I know him, his writing and his understanding. He is a fantastic person, of course, as far as his viewpoint on. I don't know him personally, but I know his writing thing and his opinions on strategic affairs. So he said that it's quite strange that when it comes to Indo-Pak issue on Kashmir, then Antonio Guterres is ready to jump in. He is ready to provide his advice, and he's talking about being a sort of a third party that can help you solve this Kashmir issue. But when it comes to China, right, he's not jumping in. He's not coming in, and because he's keeping quiet when it comes to China, when it comes to USA. So we find this has been a pattern, and credible international organizations, they are the need of the hour. What we have seen so far is that this global institutions, right, they get money from big countries like USA, for example. USA has been the biggest contributor of WHO, of UN, and other organizations. So these organizations, they act like pawns of this donors, right? They cannot go against them. The people appointed for a very long period of time, people who were appointed in WHO, not WHO, but basically in World Bank, in IMF, you will find most of them are coming from Western world, right? A few years ago only we got someone from this developing nation from Brazil. Till then, for a very long period of time, it has always been people from USA or UK, France and other countries. They used to dominate this World Bank and IMF. So we need to change these organizations. We need latest organizations. We need more democratic organizations, right? Impartial, neutral organizations. And nowadays we find this wave of anti-globalization. And IMF chief economist Geeta Gopinathan, she has rightly said that multilateral cooperation is vital for the health of global recovery. All those countries who are thinking about protectionism, right, this is going to create more damage to global economy. We will not see recovery if we are fighting with each other. We need a proper collaborative effort to get rid of this coronavirus, as well as to take our economy back on track. So this was a very interesting article. Moving on to next one, needed a pandemic patent pool. Now what is patent pool? Patent pool is, in simple words, right, it is a pool or a place where you will put your innovations. I'll give you one example. Let's say you are a tech company and you have invented, let's say, Gorilla Glass, right? These are a few common things that we all are aware about. Not technically, but we have heard about Gorilla Glass, isn't it? So let's say Gorilla Screen or Gorilla Glass. You have invented this thing. So you put this thing in a patent pool. Then there is another company, they came out with some sort of lens, right, that they have developed for, you can use it for mobile phones and cameras and other things. So they have invented one lens, and then you have another company, they have invented a new sensor touch or something. So all of them will put their various different innovations in this pool, and if you have contributed something, then you can use various different innovations by various different companies in your new product. So it will benefit all. And if you are a company that has not contributed, but if you want to use all these items or a few of them, then you can get license from this pool itself, this patent pool. You have to pay fees, and then you will get license too. So you will get access to all or few items at just one place. You get to get license at one place rather than going to UK and getting license for one thing and then applying in China for this lens and then other items. So you will get everything, one green signal, you can get permission from. It's like a single window permission, right? To make it short and simple. So on 26th April every year, World Intellectual Property Day is celebrated, but this time there was no celebration, and the main purpose of this Intellectual Property Day is that we should make sure that innovation keeps on happening in this world. At the same time, it should not lead to limited monopoly. People should benefit from innovations. Of course, you have to pay a price for innovation, and this is important for coronavirus, controlling coronavirus, because everyone is trying to find a medicine for or a vaccine for coronavirus, and this is going to be the only permanent solution. If we want to get back to normal, that we have to have a vaccine or a medicine that can cure or that can protect us from coronavirus. So the best thing that we can do is we can have a common patent pool where we can, whatever we have, or various different countries, if you have learned something, if you know something, if you have achieved something as far as this coronavirus is concerned, then you can put this thing in this PP, that is patent pool. So everyone can benefit out of it, and then you can use two good things from a country's innovation, and then you can add your own and you can make a new thing. So this will be helpful for other countries, or basically the research will go on, innovation will go on, and for that we need international organization, we need governments, we need researchers, we need universities, we need business organizations, right? We need NGOs. All of them should be on board. We need all of them together, and then only we will be successful in developing this medicine as well as distributing it, because just invention is not going to help. You have to produce it. Invention is something that you do in your lab. Innovation is something that you do in your market. So from horse cart to a car, that was a radical innovation, right? Then you have this incremental innovations, like from iPhone 5 you get iPhone 6, then 7. So these are step-by-step innovations, a little bit of improvement. So if we are getting a medicine altogether, new medicine, then you need to produce it. For production you need companies on board. For that you need you need to align your supply chain, global supply chain maybe. So it is important that you have governments on board. So I hope you know what I'm trying to tell you here is that we need this big supply chain where you have NGOs, governments, international organizations, researchers, innovators, companies, universities. Everyone should be on board if we want to find a medicine, and then we want to distribute it as quickly as possible in each and every corner of this world. Now, governments and international organizations need to arrive at a consensus in advance to ensure that the system is ready. We cannot create all these things after finding a medicine. This is the right time that we create a pool, we create this collaborative system. So in case if we find a medicine, hopefully we will, then we have this whole base, we have this whole chain or system through which we can distribute it and produce it. We have one thing as well called TRIPS. So TRIPS stands for Trade-Related Aspects of Intellectual Property Rights Regime. And there are several tools such as compulsory licensing that are available to ensure access to medicines. If you invent a medicine, let's say for coronavirus, then you cannot limit it with yourself. You cannot say that we will not pass it to other countries. Under this TRIPS, you have to give compulsory licensing. You have to give compulsory license to other countries to produce that particular medicine. You have to share this formula. Of course, you will get royalty in return, but you have to share it. You cannot keep it as a monopoly. So you'll get money as well, but at the same time, this innovation will be respected under this TRIPS. That's what the whole idea is. But now we need to be a bit fast, right? As soon as we will find a medicine, the whole world will be after that medicine, and the chances of inventing a medicine and innovating one will become stronger if everyone is on board. So patent pools are usually effective in aggregating, administrating and licensing patents related to specific areas of technology, and we can use this thing for this whole medicine on this fighting this coronavirus. One more important thing is that a trustworthy international organization should manage this patent pool of this coronavirus or this COVID-19 related innovations, and royalties will be or should be kept at minimal level, but then as well it's going to be in billions of dollars, because every country, once you get this medicine, even those countries, those island nations, they don't have any case of coronavirus, they will also need this medicine, they will also purchase or produce these medicines. So you will get small amount from so many countries. So that will, add up to billions and billions of dollars. We have this Doha Declaration on Public Health, which is part of this TRIPS agreement, and this declaration recognizes the need for taking measures to protect public health and promote access to medicines. So the best thing this is just like a GK information, but keep this thing in mind as well. Doha Declaration. So patent pool, right? That is a very important thing that we need to create. Then we have this plasma therapy is no silver bullet. Plasma therapy is, that if someone has recovered from this disease, then you can use their antibodies and you can inject this antibodies to a person who is sick, and it is expected that that person will recover from the antibodies that has fought this particular disease. So far what we know is that this is not a golden or a magical wand, right? It is not like plasma therapy is not a proven therapy or a proven thing as far as this COVID-19 is concerned. We have seen few successful cases, but science does not work in that way. You have to try this thing on random samples, right? Let's say a medicine for headache. If you give it to any person around the world, right, it should work on that person. That's how a medicine gets approval. So you have to do so many trials, and science should be driven by reason, and it is driven by reason and evidence, but still we don't have any evidence for this plasma therapy's success. We don't have that many results or that many evidences. We have few cases here and there, and in many cases it has failed as well. In many cases it has not produced any results. So yes, trials are going on, countries are trying their level best, and if we find something from it, that's good. But still, we cannot say that this is the only way to deal with this coronavirus, right? That's what this article is all about. And then you have few news items on your screen, dear friends. These are few news items that you'll find in the Hindu newspapers, and throughout the day from various different sources, you can go through some other news items as well. So that's everything in today's discussion. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Jai Hind.